It's time for our closing message, which is, what do we really need to hear? Now, you can't read the entirety of my shirt, but it says, nevertheless, she persists. And that's really what it's all about. That no matter how hard it gets, no matter how busy we get, no matter how many excuses we list in our mind or on an actual checklist and a timeline of all that we need to get done, we can persist. We can do the things if we set them up, if we set ourselves up to succeed. We end up being our biggest barrier to success. It starts with being a critic of ourselves, not showing the self-love we deserve, and then it spirals, that downward spiral, into so many other things of not having the time, the energy, or the license to do the things that we deserve to do, which is to take care of ourselves. And wellness is a pretty complex journey. There is physical wellness, nutritional wellness, financial wellness, intellectual wellness. There are so many different categories on the wellness journey. And it's nearly impossible, unless we have unlimited resources and time, to give our focus to them all. So the most important message that I want to impart on you all, which is also a lesson for me, which is to create balance, to be gentle on ourselves, and to understand that moderation is the best method. That there are some days, I know consistency does pay. There are some days where we are going to eat in a way that we're proud of. We'll feel nourished, we'll feel appropriately full, and we'll feel energized like that food is fuel. And there will be some days, sometimes because of hormones, time, money restrictions, travel, whatever the answer is, where our eating, our consumption is called into question, or not necessarily at its best. But if majority of the time it is good enough, you're staying on that right side of things. So too with our fitness. There are days where you wake up every morning at 8 a.m. before your workday starts at 9, and you put that 20-minute workout in, non-negotiable. You alternate the days, cardio, strength. You fit that stretching in, whether you wake up in the morning or when you go to bed at night, to release your muscles, to build that range of motion, trying to bring all the messages together in each of these videos. But some days, and like I said in the beginning of this video, where we simply cannot. We don't have the time, the energy, or we're just not feeling well. We hit an injury, we hit a cold, and the most important thing you could do for yourself, speaking to the food and the exercise, is to not throw the towel in, to embrace the balance, the moderation of it all, and to say, I may have not been at my best. These holidays may have derailed my progress. I'm not proud of some of my choices, but instead of ruminating, instead of punishing myself, instead of finding the flaws, envision the potential. And to set those goals, those realistic goals, to build an army of people cheering you on, like-minded people that motivate you, whether it's inspiring your family, which is a service to them, or building your friend group and building an accountability infrastructure. The whole reality that we're faced with is how. We all know that we have to do it. We all know why we should do it. We all know we could search the resources online, through this program, through other people who have the knowledge base that we could tap into. It's the how. It's putting that one foot in front of the other. And I don't want to give those cautionary tales that if you don't make time for it now, then you'll have to make time for it later. It takes significant more time to fix the problems than to be preventative. But sometimes when we're not feeling it, we're humans. And left to our own devices, we don't actually change until it's screaming at us in the face. And if you catch that fitness bug or that healthy eating incentive, sometimes you just ride that wave for as long as you can. And then you have to stop and start again or redefine it. I have ladies who do my program and they stop and they say, it no longer works for me. And I try to tell them, of course, I understand if I'm not the person for you, but there is no magic bullet. All the programs are essentially the same. There's one person or multiple people in the front cheering you on, telling you how to do it, and similar energies, similar knowledge base, and you follow. I know I participate in programs where I'm following, and it all works until it doesn't. But it's about remembering how you felt when you were doing it regularly. Avoid the trends or the fads out there. I know that the industry is really saturated with so many options, and that's really a distraction because we know, and the research tells us that we're always looking for something else, but what we really should be looking for is how to keep our internal selves motivated. Our external selves know we need it. When we do it, nobody's ever mad when they don't get that workout done, or when they don't make that salad that makes them feel good, or they don't do the meal prep that ensures their success, or they don't put that meditation in at the end of the night to de-stress their bodies and their minds. When it's getting done, it works, and you're on fire. But then when you lose it, the punishment that happens in your mind can be so diminishing. So please, ladies, remember you're valuable. And even, I don't usually like this line, but I'm going to use it with an intentional design. Fake it till you make it. Now, I don't always like that because I don't think it's authentic. However, if you need to believe that I believe, if you need to do it for vanity in the beginning and then realize it's for my physical health, whatever I'm talking about, eating well, exercising well, managing your money, getting that sleep in, hydrating properly, taking time to let your brain decompress so you can enter the world and your work and your life and your family and your friends with a refreshed self, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I use a lot of these cliches not to be salesy, but in my authentic self, I really believe that each of those cliches carries value. They're there because they have a message to send, which is that we matter. And if you close your eyes for just a minute and pictured yourself at your happiest, I'm pretty confident that if you delved into that person when you were at your happiest, you were probably taking care of yourself. Maybe you were in a location where you were free of worries, maybe on a vacation, somewhere exotic or with people you loved. Or you just, felt whole. And in that moment, something in your mind and your body was syncing up. That you felt you were doing something to satisfy your internal self, not for the approval of others. So if you can through your ideals, through your vision, through your capabilities, start your day with a 1-minute meditation of how do I get to my ideal self again, whether it's to throw back to that moment or to develop your new forward vision. Meditating for 1 minute of what you want to achieve, that's what we really need to hear. Is how to bring back our self-love and our recognition of the value that we each have so we can nurture and sustain that. We need to live a long life of health. And if we don't invest now, it will catch up with us later. All of that messaging about strengthening your bones and your joints by building strong muscles, getting that calorie burn and fat burn is not so that I can shame anyone or punish you for anything you ate at the table. It's so that you could recognize that your heart needs to keep pumping and that your circulation needs to keep steady, and sitting too long and eating foods that slow us down and that just kind of stick in our gut and don't convert to fuel, that hurts our bodies. And our bodies are what keeps us moving from one step to another to perform the tasks, to be the best person we can be in our jobs, in our lives, in everything we're doing, religiously, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and socially. So I know that I'm saying a lot of the same thing in different ways, but if there's anything that I could have communicated to you, and it's all just seed planting, and one of those seeds get planted and it eventually grows, and sometimes you just wake up and you realize, aha moment, I can persist. I could find it. I could believe in me. Positive thinking does have value. 1 foot in front of the other. Small steps lead to big, long strides. Slow and steady wins the race. I have got this. I'm worthy of taking care of myself. A stronger me is stronger for everybody else who needs me. So please, find your balance. Do things in moderation. Recognize your worth. And believe that you can do whatever your goals are as long as you keep that focus on and that self-worth strong. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I believe that we can do it together, and I know you can do it one step in front of the other.